Well, all right. Well, getting into the Super Bowl preview, there's a lot of guys we talk about. I don't know if I'm going to make a single video about one specific offensive lineman, for anyone else. But for Trent Williams, yeah, he deserves his own video. He's one of the best, if not the best, honestly, to ever do it. He's, debatably the best player in football. In fact, is that like a hot take to say he's the best player in football? Obviously, Mahomes is the, most valuable player in football. But you could certainly make a strong argument for Trent Williams, if nothing else. But let's talk about what he does so well. And the main thing is, like, in the passing game, it's kind of like, if you're the Chiefs, don't even worry about putting someone on him. I mean, really, put your worst player on him, whoever that happens to be. One of the issues is for their edge rushers, Karlaftis, Dana, Amenahue, they've all kind of been, I feel like, pretty solid this season. So I don't know exactly. I thought Karlaftis is probably my favorite out of the bunch there. So I think I would put him on the right tackle, which, that's a whole video for another day. But like this video, watch what Trent Williams is going to do. Right off the bat, you see Baltimore Ravens edge rusher is going to, initiate contact here. It doesn't seem to be something that's like a, disastrous or good situation. It's just, this is a typical pass blocking rep. But watch how Brent Urban, that's the edge rusher, really can't get much of anything going, and Williams is able to hold that off pretty well, right? That's pretty much how it works. And one of the reasons why I'm often, sometimes I don't make a ton of offensive line videos, especially I think in general, like a pass blocking tackle video, is it kind of just a lot of that. It's like, look, a guy, tried to rush the passer, wasn't able to do much. And we could get into more, what the move you're pulling off, more details like that. But that's kind of the gist of it, right? Is, when you try to pass rush Trent Williams, usually doesn't go too well. And even in situations like this, where, we're talking about the edge rushers, which is the main thing to talk about, of course, when you're talking about a tackle, but it is worth mentioning, like, he's blocking an interior defensive lineman on this play because the 49ers, they love their play actions, right? Which means that they'll often have tight ends lined up, on the side of Williams that aren't in there to, block the, they're not in there just to help out Trent Williams. And so because of this, you get other defenders to kind of move in that area, meaning that sometimes you might have a Trent Williams on Chris Jones one-on-one matchup. That is something that will legitimately probably happen a time or two in this game. In fact, I could easily see it happening because I think they'll have several guys line up on one side of the center to try and get Jones to have a one-on-one matchup. Like, watch what's going to happen on this play. Again, you see when it begins, right off the bat, there's a play action, which, yeah, that helps for Trent Williams for sure. That makes it, easier for him. But let's see, what's the pass rush move that the interior defensive lineman is going to try to pull off here? Well, as you see, he doesn't really get much of anything going. Williams kind of grabs the jersey area, and there's just not really a lot you can do at that point. Williams is really good. And the way you should really view Williams, I think, is he's someone who's just, you're not going to beat. Like, that's the correct way to view going up against Trent Williams. Not to say that you can never beat him. Like, going over to something like this, what's going to happen is this is a 3rd down and 12. You have an interior defensive lineman here for Philadelphia. Again, like I said, not always edge rushers going up one-on-one against him. You will have some other players do things. However, when this play begins, you see that right here. Again, it's actually starting off as an okay situation for Williams. What the what the interior defensive lineman for Philadelphia is going to do on this play is going to try to get his right hand and get on that left, shoulder area for Williams. This player is a good player. This is Jalen Carter. So, okay, maybe not quite Chris Jones, but Jalen Carter had an awesome season. And watch what Jalen Carter is going to do to Trent Williams here. Watch him. He does get around Williams. Williams actually hits the deck at the end of that play. So, like, listen, he is still a human as much as we sometimes pretend he is not, right? It is still possible to beat him. And if you're rushing him, you shouldn't just say, well, let's save my energy for the next rep. Like, no, you do want to, make sure that you still do your best. And it's also one of those weird situations, too, where you could on one hand say, oh, well, then you should just put your, worst edge rusher on him, which I kind of agree with. That's what you should do. The flip side, though, is Trent Williams is also a monster run blocker. Going over to something like this, it's not even just him beating the edge rusher who he's lined up against. Sometimes it's getting to the second level. In fact, a lot of times it's getting to the second level. They often will have him move around and be blocking some of these linebackers for Kansas City that are usually pretty good at getting to the running back. So that's part of what makes this, 49ers run block unit so great, even though their pass block unit isn't that great. It's just Trent Williams means so much to this team in the run blocking game. You see him here, he's going to get up to block a safety on this play. And right off the bat, you see how well he gets in position to make this block. This is just what he does every time. He's almost never out of position. He gets to where he needs to be so well. He's so fast. Also, watch what he does after this. Watch him kind of just shove, Blankenship to the side right there. Don't know if he had to do that, but it was kind of funny. But just in general, he is someone who can get to the next level very well. He can find a way to make a play, and he is someone that, again, in the pass block game, pretty much always wins, and in the run block game is not just going to win, but he's going to do more than that. He's going to be someone who can get to the next level and, block a guy that most tackles wouldn't be able to block, which for the Chiefs means that other guys have to come through, especially, they keep their safeties deep, so, someone has to come through and make a tackle. That's how it's going to have to work. And going over here, it should be mentioned as well, Trent Williams, again, like I said, he's human, right? You have a one-on-one block in this situation. It's against a good pass rusher. Again, I picked the Eagles for a reason because they're a good pass rushing team. Hassan Reddick is the guy who's going to be going up on Williams one-on-one. Tough situation. Watch as when this play begins, you see that right here, it looks to be a bit of a peculiar position for Trent Williams. You have Hassan Reddick, his right hand getting over Williams. I mean, this is a dangerous situation, but I think there's sometimes a misconception with tackles. Yes, the best tackles get beat a lot rarer than the, worst tackles, right? Of course. But sometimes it's not necessarily about looking good throughout the entirety of your block. Sometimes it's about surviving the blocks when your opponent makes a good move. And there's maybe no one better at that than Trent Williams in the league. Because Williams' right arm was on, and see how he's able to get right back, blocks Reddick. Again, there's guys who I like on this Chiefs pass rush unit. Like I said, Karlaftis can make a lot of decent moves. Do I trust Karlaftis to win one-on-one against Williams at all in this game? Not really. I think maybe Chris Jones could do it in some of these situations, but that's pretty much it. And part of what makes it so important to have, Williams is not just that he's so good, but he plays the left side. So you don't get those strip sacks that sometimes you could get if you're going up against a worse left tackle because, obviously Purdy doesn't have to worry about the blind side as much, which is so, again, it matters so much. What is the Chiefs' best strategy, in my opinion, to try and attack Trent Williams? It's to not try and attack Trent Williams. Just do what you can in the run game, and then in the pass game, there's 4 other offensive linemen. Try to get by them. That's typically how I would view things. So going over to my kind of final predictions page thing, again, not meant to be taken seriously. You've heard me say that a million times now if you've been watching these videos. Just kind of a fun way to, keep updating how things have gone. And you see that, kind of stacking up a lot for the Niners here. I'm giving a +5 for Trent Williams in terms of the matchup situation. And again, it's not really to say that I think that the edge rushers for Kansas City are bad. It's just Trent Williams is legitimately, debatably the best player in football if you take out positional value. There's an argument you could make for something like that. Do I trust Trent Williams to win in these situations? Yes, I just do. He's a monster player. And it's even if you're a great pass rush unit, you should still be looking at trying to attack some of the other guys. So I definitely will at some point make a video on the other offensive linemen, and that is where things can get very interesting, in my opinion. But as for Trent Williams himself, again, you should view him as a brick wall. You should view him as a star player. That's what he is. He is a game-changing tackle. And while game-changing tackles don't get the attention that game-changing receivers or game-changing quarterbacks get, they're still really important and really impactful. And, I do think he could be a real game changer in this one, perhaps. Certainly, it's going to help out a lot for the 49ers. But yeah, those are my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.